My chosen one, this moment is no accident. Your spirit was drawn here by divine appointment. This isn't just words, it's a sacred call to awaken. Have you felt it? That restless stirring, the heaviness in your heart, the sudden urge to step away from what no longer aligns. These aren't random, they're my signals, marking a divine shift in your life and the world. I'm realigning your destiny, cleansing what's tainted, and restoring your purpose. You're not here to blend in, but to rise, marked by heaven to carry light as darkness grows. Your battles, your isolation, they're proof of your calling. Comment 888 below to seal this moment in the spiritual realm. This number isn't random, it signifies my perfect timing, the alignment of heaven's plans with your path, marking the end of delay and the dawn of your true purpose. By typing 888, you're declaring, Lord, I hear you, I'm awake, I'm ready. Let this act be a bold proclamation, echoing in eternity. I'm deeply grateful for your presence here. My chosen one, your heart, your attention, your faith strengthen this message and extend its reach to others. You're sowing into sacred ground, and whether you share, comment, or simply linger, know that you are loved and valued beyond measure. Stay with me, for what follows is tailored for your spirit. A divine revelation awaits, and I'm about to unveil what you need to walk forward. Breathe deeply, open your heart, and let's go deeper together. A divine wave is rising, not a fleeting moment, but a cosmic realignment sent by my hand. An invisible, unstoppable spiritual force is preparing to sweep the earth. Do you feel the pressure building in your spirit? This isn't your imagination. It's my final call before a transformative storm. Those who ignore it, who dismiss or overlook it, will soon be overwhelmed by what they didn't believe was real. Hesitation has no place here. I'm sounding an alarm in your soul because you are not ordinary. You are mine. This awakening is precise, intentional, and perfectly timed. I'm calling you to position yourself for what's coming. Are you spiritually equipped for the flood ahead? Are your roots deep enough to stand firm? I am faithful and will strengthen you against any darkness. Picture a tree planted by a river, its roots stretching deep into the earth. While storms rage, it stands unshaken because it was nurtured in quiet seasons. You, too, have been nurtured through trials. What if your obedience now is the root system that anchors you through the flood? What if your preparation is what separates survival from destiny, like a tree? Your life shows the fruit of quiet endurance. Each challenge has deepened your strength, preparing you for this moment. You stand at the edge of a spiritual ocean where a mighty wave is about to crash. Will you ride it or be swept under? Will you let my reset lift you higher? Or will you resist and be caught unprepared? This shift isn't what the world expects. It's not political or cultural, but spiritual, exposing all that lacks truth. You, my chosen one, are equipped not just to endure, but to guide others through it. This is your divine assignment. Have you surrendered to your preparation? Envision a warrior donning armor before battle, not out of fear, but wisdom. Protection isn't about hiding. It's about standing firm in my truth, letting my spirit guard your heart, mind, and discernment. The enemy is subtle, not attacking with fire, but with distraction, doubt, and delay. I call you to prepare now, before it's too late. A wise traveler sees a storm on the horizon and seeks shelter, while the careless press on and face the consequences. My chosen one, the unrest around you, the sense of something massive approaching. These are spiritual signals. The world is stirring, and you are awakening, not to fear, but to lead, like a beacon in a storm. Your light was meant to shine brighter in chaos. What has tried to dim your light lately? Could it be a sign that your purpose carries weight for this season? When you feel the urge to pause and realign, heed it. That's not weakness, but wisdom. My reset won't wait for your readiness. It will come regardless. Only the prepared will rise, while others falter in confusion. You were chosen to understand, to lead. Picture a captain navigating turbulent seas, keeping watch when others sleep. You, too, must stay vigilant, retreating from the world's noise to hear my voice clearly. What am I whispering to you now? What doors am I asking you to close? What preparation have you delayed? This reset moves with divine force, and only those rooted in me will stand. You were chosen not for perfection, but for obedience, not for status, but for alignment. This is your final moment to prepare. What you do now shapes who you'll become after the shift. While the world seeks comfort, you're called to consecration. While others panic, you'll stand in power if you prepare. My chosen one, hear this with your spirit being. Mine doesn't promise an easy path. Your trials may be heavier, your storms fiercer, your tests more frequent. Why? Because those set apart carry the weight of transformation, not just for themselves, but for others. Have you wondered why your path feels harder despite your faithfulness? Why challenges persist despite your prayers? You're not ordinary. You're marked for more. I allow trials not to break you, but to refine you, like gold purified in fire, emerging stronger and brighter. This reset won't bypass you. It will elevate you if you stand firm. Imagine a sculptor chiseling stone, each strike shaping a masterpiece. Your struggles are my chisel, crafting you for your divine purpose. What if your current battles are the labor before your calling's birth? This reset isn't an end, it's a clearing. I'm sweeping through the earth, purging what no longer serves, dismantling falsehoods, and revealing truth in its purest form. You're not just surviving this, you're meant to interpret it, embody it, and guide others through it, like a gardener pruning fruitful vines to yield more. I'm trimming what hinders you. Your difference lies not in achievements, but in your spiritual sight, your ability to see what others miss. While many chase survival, you're called to rise above, into clarity, awareness, and your role as a guide for this generation. Picture a lighthouse standing firm amidst crashing waves, its beam unwavering. You, too, may feel alone in your convictions, but your alignment with truth gives you authority in this shift. This transformation is a spiritual cleansing. Do you sense the tension in the air, the unease in those around you? These aren't random. They're the stirrings of my disruption, shaking off confusion and spiritual fog. Just as a storm renews the earth, I use spiritual storms to clear falsehoods, letting truth rise. You're not called to fear the wind, but to walk upon it, not to be tossed, but to be a beacon others seek as darkness grows. I'm doing something new. Can you sense it springing forth like a river carving a new path through stone? I disrupt comfort to birth purpose. Could your life's disruptions be signs of my hand clearing your way for something greater? This wave will touch all, but for my chosen, it will feel different. Others may panic, but you'll perceive. Others may resist, but you'll recognize. For you, it's not just change, it's elevation. It will test you, unearthing fears and wounds, but it will also shape you, polish you, and set your spirit ablaze. My love for you remains unshaken, even when mountains tremble. Like a single seed planted in quiet soil, your small acts of faith can yield a harvest far beyond what you see. What small step am I calling you to take that could ripple outward? My chosen one, ride this wave not as a victim, but as a bearer of prophecy. The wave may roar, but your faith anchors you. The winds may howl, but your purpose centers you. You're not alone. I am your compass, anchor, strength. When the pressure builds and old beliefs crumble, know this: I break what binds you, not to harm, but to free. Everything you've endured, pain, isolation, disruptions, was preparation. You've been trained for this moment. This wave isn't here to crush you, it's here to lift you. Elevation requires faith, trusting I've made you strong enough to stand. Have you wondered why you couldn't abandon your faith, why you kept returning to alignment? That's not weakness, it's my selection. You were chosen before time to stand in this hour, like a guide leading others through darkness, trusting an inner voice when none could hear it. You're called to rise, move in faith, and carry others forward. This is your moment. Spiritual power demands spiritual protection. My energy can't be handled carelessly. It's like a mighty river, beautiful, but overwhelming if you're not grounded. Is your spirit anchored, or are distractions clouding your discernment? Guard your heart, for it shapes all you do. Protection isn't about walls, but foundations. Prayer is your lifeline, meditation your anchor, obedience your shield. Like a wise leader stepping back to preserve strength, you must discern when to pause, speak, or act. That stillness isn't retreat, it's strategy. The world's noise, fear, envy, bitterness clouds the soul, but you see beyond it. This reset is like a cleansing rain, clearing the path for my spirit to move freely. I'm rebuilding your soul, clearing hidden doubts, buried pain, unhealed wounds. Not to hurt, but to heal. Don't fear the discomfort. It's healing, a detox from spiritual noise. You're being emptied to be filled, like an athlete turning setbacks into strength. Your struggles confirm growth, not failure. Your pain is the gateway to your power. I'll restore what's been lost, my chosen one. This reset isn't passive, it's a partnership. You must choose to align, to step boldly into my work. Act, don't react. Advance, don't retreat. When I say move, don't wait for perfection. Obedience activates, surrender strategizes, alignment opens doors no one can close, like a spark igniting a fire. Your small alignment with my purpose carries heaven's authority. What's holding you back? What belief still binds you? Why hesitate when you're chosen? This moment is here, and my power will carry the ready or overwhelm the resistant. You were made to lead through this wave. Stay aligned. Guard your heart and walk in truth. Clarity will flood your mind, strength your body, peace your soul. The world will feel this shift, but responses vary. While others panic, you'll understand the signs, prepared in secret for a public unveiling. This isn't chance, it's alignment. If you've felt this truth stir your spirit, affirm it by commenting 777 below, a declaration of your readiness. Have you sensed a pull toward silence, reflection, prayer? That's my spirit tuning you to heaven's frequency, like a quiet stream feeding a mighty river. Your hidden faithfulness prepares you for revelation, for the faithful. This shift is activation. Your gifts sharpen, purpose clarifies, Boldness returns. The veil between you and my guidance thins. Our conversations grow clearer. But for the unaligned, this wave may bring confusion, not punishment, but contrast. The same current lifts the prepared and challenges the unready. Are you fortified to ride this wave, or just hoping to survive? I am your foundation, your source of salvation, wisdom, and knowledge. Like one fulfilling a calling through unseen battles, anchored in faith. You too must pursue your purpose despite hidden struggles. The difference between the prepared and unprepared isn't superiority, it's positioning. I honor faithfulness, not favoritism. Have you chosen comfort or calling lately? Draw near to me, and I'll draw near to you. The aligned see this shift as an invitation, moving with clarity while others stumble. You're called not just to rise, but to lift others. Like a healer saving lives through unwavering faith, your clarity will save others. My door remains open. Anyone can align with me, but timing matters. The chosen are positioned through prayer, listening, and building strength when the world is loud. Like one creating in obscurity, your faithfulness now builds a legacy for tomorrow. Are you faithful when unseen? Are you listening amidst the noise? This transformation rewards hunger for me. If you've walked this path, this is your breakthrough. If you're awakening now, respond today. This wave reveals readiness, and you were meant to lead, not waver. If this stirs your heart, comment, Lord, I am ready below. A prayer for alignment. When this shift begins, it will be undeniable, a visible, soul-marking move of mine. Can you sense the change? Like a storm that awakens rather than frightens, I'll send clear signs. Holy confirmations, not mere coincidences. Picture a sky glowing with unearthly light, or a sound in your spirit stirring reverence, not fear. My voice will echo through your being, shifting your home's energy. Relationships, thoughts. Your inner compass will point precisely to your purpose. Conversations will shift, priorities realign, and the unaligned may fade from your life. That's not loss, it's my hand clearing your path. Like a radio tuning to a clear signal, you're called to align with my frequency. This reset is global, but for you, it's personal. Others may panic, but you'll find peace, knowing you were prepared for this. The fog will lift, delays will feel timed, and clarity will emerge. My peace, unlike the world's, calms your heart, like one finding hope amidst chaos. Your peace comes from our connection, not circumstances. Will you embrace the signs, the sky's beauty, the spirit's trembling, the fading relationships, or cling to the familiar? This is your invitation. Be like a prepared traveler, ready with provisions, not scrambling. Your readiness grants access. Like one stepping into destiny through years of quiet preparation. Your moment may come suddenly, but readiness determines your response. Keep your spirit full. Prayer, meditation, purity, intentional connections, alignment with my will. Distractions will come, confusion, temptation, false urgency, but stay grounded. Keep your eyes on me, who calms the storm. This reset's experience depends on your preparation. The unready may feel it as a shaking, an earthquake cracking unsteady ground. But for you, it's activation, acceleration. Like swimming against a storm's current, the unready struggle, not from my wrath, but from resisting my presence. Readiness is your strength, cultivated in secret. If you feel this call, comment 111 below, marking your awakening. Like an artist whose pain fuels timeless creation, your struggles are your canvas, painting a guide for others. The unready will question everything as foundations crumble, but you'll feel my wind pushing you forward. The righteous stand firm forever. Do you see the world differently? Finding calm in chaos. That's evidence you're wired for this moment, for the spiritually asleep. Confusion may sting, but it can lead them back to me. An invitation, not an end. Even the furthest can return with one encounter, like a spark turning to flame. One moment can transform a life. What if those furthest from truth are one step from leading in light? My mercy endures, inviting all to awaken through surrender. But you, my chosen one, will flourish. Your clarity will pierce the noise, your purpose sharpen, your presence guide like a lighthouse. Arise, for your light has come, like one refined in solitude, emerging as a symbol of resilience. Your wilderness was development, not delay. Have you underestimated my power in you? This reset isn't for worldly praise, but spiritual authority. You don't need approval, just obedience. Like one risking all for faith, your life becomes a sign of hope. You're not just enduring, you're a beacon. This means embracing your authority, trusting your preparation to lead, shining with compassion, wisdom, and clarity. Others will follow your walk, not your words. You're my chosen one, and this reset is your platform to transform the world. If this resonates, comment. I stand firm in you below, a vow of trust. Protecting your spirit is essential as this reset ripples outward. The transformation begins within. Your soul, thoughts, posture toward me. Are you guarding your spirit with care? Don't be casual now. Be vigilant about what you feed your mind, what influences your heart, who walks beside you. Distractions masquerade as entertainment, negativity as news, fatigue as normalcy. But you were made for more than normal. Faith is your shield, quenching every attack. Like a steadfast guide holding fast in confinement, prayer and conviction unyielding. Your connection to me is your lifeline. Every prayer strengthens, every reflection sharpens, every obedience fortifies. The signs are clear. Don't call them coincidence. Be transformed by renewing your mind, embracing light over darkness. This cleansing will wash away wounds, doubts, habits, preparing you for elevation. Like one overcoming limitations to inspire. Your past doesn't define you. My gifts do. I'm giving you a new heart, a new spirit. As you align, I entrust you with authority, insight, peace beyond logic. This reset begins in you, then flows through you. It's my intervention. The world has drifted, but my mercy realigns. Like a quiet voice healing through simplicity. You don't need to be loud, just aligned. What clutter clouds my voice? What habits keep you numb? This reset is your invitation to draw closer, go deeper, rise higher. Your strength will renew, your gifts activate. Like an eagle soaring above the storm. You're a bearer of truth in chaos, not just witnessing the reset, but part of its purpose, not just cleansed, but crowned. If you feel this truth, comment 222 below, affirming your partnership. My chosen one. They harbored schemes against you. I uncovered and addressed them all. First, I permitted them to scheme just sufficiently to construct their own entrapment. My chosen one. Have you ever questioned why I did not intervene right away when they began conspiring against you? Why did it appear as though I was silent as the falsehoods circulated, as the snares were laid, as the murmurs echoed in shadowed spaces? Might it be that my quietness was not neglect, but deliberate design? They believed they had you cornered. They genuinely thought they had devised the flawless outline for your decline. They practiced deceptions, exchanged sly grins in your absence, and convinced themselves they were directing your demise. But what they failed to grasp is that I was not only observing, I was composing a far grander harmony. Those who create pitfalls for others often tumble into them themselves. If someone pushes a boulder, it frequently rolls back upon them. They imagined they were excavating a grave for you, yet they were unaware they were fashioning the very abyss that would engulf them entirely. Each falsehood they uttered added another layer of earth over their own heads. Each manipulative deed was another stone in the barrier they unwittingly erected for themselves. Consider how a seed buried deep in the soil might seem lost and forgotten at first, pressed down by the weight of the earth. But in that very pressure, it gathers strength, pushing roots downward and sprouts upward, emerging taller and more resilient than before. What if the very disloyalty directed at you is intended to launch you to heights beyond your wildest dreams? Have you paused to consider what advancement lies concealed within your suffering? My chosen one, you did not need to strike back. You did not need to plot in response. I allowed them to disclose themselves so thoroughly that you merely had to remain steady and observe. You see, your quietude was not frailty. It was a tool of power. Every sleepless evening you withstood. Every tear you shed in solitude. Every instance you selected tranquility over reprisal. I was authoring a narrative of invincible triumph on your behalf. Envision a mighty oak tree that withstands fierce storms, not by bending wildly, but by rooting itself deeper, drawing nourishment from the very winds that seek to uproot it. In this way, your trials have deepened your foundations, making you unshakable in my care. Those who conspired thought they were far ahead in their calculations. But what they overlooked is that I do not operate within the same framework. I am the framework itself. I am the designer, the overseer, the supreme tactician. I frustrate the intentions of the deceitful. I nullify the aims of the proud. While they reveled in fleeting successes, I was subtly interlacing their every action into a pattern of their own undoing. Have you observed how their existences are now fraying, how their own statements are rebounding to torment them like resonances in an empty cavern? Their grins are waning, their assurance wavering, and in private they are gripped by an inexplicable dread. Why? Because they perceive that my divine influence is active, that they are now participants in a narrative they did not author, a narrative scripted by me. Imagine a weaver crafting a vast tapestry, where every thread, even those meant for harm, is redirected to form a beautiful design of protection and purpose. In this way, their schemes against you have been woven into your story of elevation, turning potential defeat into enduring strength. Their downfall is not merely penalty, but disclosure. I desired for you and all who observe to discern the contrast between shadow and illumination, between feigned allegiance and genuine devotion as you witness them disintegrate. If you feel my truth resonating in your spirit, my chosen one, write, "Lord, I stand firm," in the comments to affirm your unwavering trust in my divine plan. You do not need to seek reprisal, my dear one, but allow space for my response, for it is mine to settle accounts. I will recompense. You do not have to retort, present proofs, or partake in ceaseless conflicts. Your composure is your fortitude. Your poise is your emblem. My chosen one, your adversaries believed they possessed the concluding statement. But in truth, they merely initiated the first step in a celestial strategy they could never prevail against. The concluding step is mine, and I have already proclaimed you triumphant as you endure today. Recognize that you are not positioned in loss, but on the threshold of a superior splendor, a divine turnaround inscribed before your birth. Second, their proximity was not a favor, it was oversight. My chosen one, have you ever halted to inquire why particular individuals were granted such nearness to you? Why did they integrate into your sphere so smoothly, grinning as though they genuinely cared, behaving as if they supported you? Could it be that what you perceived as companionship was actually my watchful supervision? You see, they regarded access to you as a boon, an honor, an indication that they held your confidence. But in reality, I allowed them near, not due to their faithfulness, but to unmask their authentic intentions beneath your radiance. The glow you possess did not merely light your way, it illuminated their obscurity. They thought they were influencing you, directing stories from the shadows. But I was monitoring every smirk, every sidelong remark, every minor disloyalty. Their closeness was never about closeness. It was about examination. Picture a vigilant guardian who permits a potential threat to approach, not out of carelessness, but to observe and record every move, ensuring that true protection is enacted at the perfect moment. In this manner, their presence near you served as a means to gather insights that would ultimately safeguard your path. What if those who professed to be your nearest confidants were only positioned there to betray their own flaws? When adversity strikes and seems to push you aside, like a river carving through rock, it often reveals hidden strengths and paves the way for renewed flow and greater reach. Can you envision how such challenges might be readying your most significant resurgence? I will shield you from all injury. I will oversee your existence. Every covert maneuver they employed was documented in my eternal archives. Every stealthy action was component of their own adjudication, evaluated not by you, but by me. You believed you were being wounded. In truth, you were being guarded and fortified. As they hovered near you, convinced they were collecting details to wield against you, I was amassing proof for your ascent. They thought they were scripting your demise, but each observation they made became a clause in their own condemnation. Have you pondered why some individuals abruptly withdraw from you, vanishing or growing distant? It is because they detect that my divine review is concluded, and they cannot endure in the midst of a verity they can no longer distort. Remember, my chosen one, you were not forfeiting companions. You were discarding burdens. Just as a tree releases withered limbs in the fall to prepare for fresh blossoming, you were creating space for new vitality. They claim you altered, but the reality is you simply surpassed their deceit. Envision a caterpillar shedding its old skin to emerge as a butterfly, no longer bound by the ground but soaring freely in the skies. In this transformation, what seemed like loss was actually liberation, allowing you to embrace the fullness of your potential. No armament shaped against you shall succeed, and every voice that ascends against you in critique, you shall refute. The spiritual oversight was never about chastising you. It was about equipping you for leadership. You were never the casualty. You were the conduit through which I disclosed the concealed motives of others. Now they are rendered mute, Abashed by their own images, their utterances rebound to them, not as victory, but as witness against their own souls. They will attempt to distort the account, to reclaim the tale, but the truth radiates too intensely to be obscured. So, my chosen one, are you prepared to enter this period of disclosure? Can you embrace that I permitted them entry, not to shatter you, but to hone your perception, to refine your essence, and to safeguard your tomorrow? What they viewed as a chance was truly a divine arrangement, and you are the breathing evidence that I always hold the ultimate declaration. Third, I permitted the deceiver to voice themselves so the disguise would falter. My chosen one, have you ever queried why I allowed certain people to linger in your life long enough to cause you pain? Why did I not halt them at the initial hint of treachery? Why did I let them draw so near, glide so quietly, murmur so gently? Could it be that I desired the deceiver to speak first, to demonstrate their genuine nature, before I stepped in? The most profound revelation does not occur when foes are still masked. It happens when they feel secure enough to display their authentic visages. They believed they had you ensnared. They thought they were so astute, infiltrating your hallowed domain, feigning loyalty, administering venom so gradually you would not detect it. But they overlooked one vital element. You are enveloped by me, who hears every murmur, who discerns every concealed intent. I was not disregarding their deeds. I was documenting them, permitting them to become complacent enough to unveil the entirety of their duplicity. Envision a masquerade where dancers hide behind elaborate masks. But as the night progresses, the heat and movement cause the masks to slip, revealing the true faces beneath for all to see. In this way, their prolonged presence allowed their deceptions to unravel naturally, teaching you to recognize authenticity from afar. Do you perceive the similarity in your own experiences? Who has been probing you for confidences, appearing benevolent while scheming to undermine your inner power? I let them converse so you could ultimately discern their purpose. You started noticing the understated jabs, the irony cloaked as humor, the indirect aggressive comments. Have you ever asked yourself why you suddenly began perceiving what you previously overlooked? That was not simple growth. That was my divine insight. When I open your eyes, no deceiver can stay concealed. They commenced expressing freely, assuming they were protected. But you heard every word with spiritual awareness. You did not fabricate it. You were not overly sensitive. You were roused. When someone discloses their true self to you, trust that revelation the first time. But my chosen one, you are unique. You trusted it, yet your kindness postponed your response. Yet I knew this, and that is why I arranged circumstances to force the deceiver into the open. I understood you required to witness it distinctly, so you would never again doubt your inner voice or my direction. This sorrow you experienced was not a chastisement. It was a potent arousal. Let perseverance complete its task so that you may be fully developed and whole, lacking nothing. Your anguish was not squandered. It was a refining instrument. You do not advance by being perpetually sheltered. You advance by confronting peril and identifying it without forfeiting your essence. Picture a blacksmith forging a sword, subjecting the metal to intense heat and repeated hammering not to destroy it, but to purify and strengthen it for battle. Similarly, your trials have forged you into a vessel of greater resilience, ready to wield my purpose with unyielding might. Now they scramble, offering justifications. I was jesting. You misconstrued. You are exaggerating. But my chosen one, Do you sense that steady glow within you now that is me affirming your insight? You are not irrational. You are not resentful. You are alert. And that is their profoundest apprehension, that you can now peer through the veils they once concealed behind. I did not require to smite them with bolts or dispatch flames from above. I employed something even mightier, verity. You will recognize the verity, and the verity will liberate you. Your liberation did not arise from reprisal or public confrontations. It emerged from beholding the unvarnished verity with your own sight. My chosen one, the most alarming thing for a betrayer is to be wholly perceived. That is why they quiver now. They do not dread you. They dread what you now comprehend. They cannot recuperate from being truly perceived, because revelation is not merely about communal disgrace. It is about spiritual conquest. Once the disguise slips, there is no reversion. So inquire of yourself, what would you have overlooked if I eliminated the deceiver prematurely? What fortitude would stay latent if you had not confronted the whisper and the sting? The response is evident. You would still be unaware of threats veiled in allure, but now you are fully alert, standing more robust than ever, no longer vulnerable to the betrayer's words. If these words have awakened your spirit, my chosen one, declare your strength by typing 222 in the comments, signaling your readiness to walk boldly in my truth. Fourth, their concealed actions were perceived by the eyes that behold all, my chosen one. Have you ever felt outnumbered, that the murmurs and sealed gatherings were accumulating against you, and you were isolated in a dim nook battling unseen adversaries? But here is the sacred verity. You were never outnumbered. You were overseen, guarded, and shielded by me, who never rests. While they conspired, while they erased communications and meticulously fashioned false benevolence, I remained serene, not as a bystander, but as the supreme chronicler. Every message, every altered story, every bond formed against you was inscribed in a record that cannot be altered. Envision a vast library where every deed, no matter how hidden, is catalogued in indelible ink, awaiting the moment when the books are opened to reveal the full account. In this eternal archive, no secret escapes notice, ensuring that justice unfolds with perfect recall. What was concealed in obscurity always emerges into light under my schedule. They operated like marionette masters, convinced their cords were unseen, that their ingenuity sufficed to evade repercussions. They mistook human quiet for divine unawareness. But my chosen one, you are under a watchful system that no one can breach. My vigilant gaze, nothing in all existence is veiled from my view. Everything is bared and exposed before me, to whom all must account. So consider how you sensed there were unseen forces working against you despite outward pleasantries. You felt the unspoken conflict. Eventually, those forces were disclosed, and your legacy gleamed even brighter despite efforts to sully it. Does that not echo your own path? My chosen one, they thought your favors could be obstructed by confidential pacts, but every endeavor only further defined your vocation. They thought they could steer fate, but fate is not a portal you can secure from without. The more they sought to dominate, the more they unmasked themselves. Do you realize that while they were occupied plotting your descent, I was occupied readying your banquet? I prepare a feast before you in the sight of your foes. I did not vow a secluded meal. I vowed a communal celebration. They had prime views to your ascent and did not even comprehend they were summoned to behold, not to disrupt. Imagine a grand hall where enemies are seated as unwilling guests. forced to witness the abundance laid out for the faithful, their own plans turning to dust in the face of such provision. What if every conspiracy against you is actually a foundation stone for your broadening now? My chosen one, survey your surroundings. Do you see the bonds dissolving, the coalitions collapsing, the abrupt hush of those who once spoke with boldness? This is not happenstance. This is my orchestrated movement. So, my chosen one, do not fear when disclosure arrives. Rejoice, for it signifies your destiny is too precious to share with betrayers. Your assurance is too valuable to be grasped by fraudulent hands. You were never combating solo. You were merely being readied for a juncture where all would be unveiled, and you would stand justified and more potent than before. Your presence here, your steadfast heart, and your trust in my plan are treasures I hold dear. I am grateful for your faithfulness, my chosen one. Fifth, they were not combating you. They were probing my patience, my chosen one. Have you ever stopped to inquire why they selected you as their focus? Why did they target you? A soul who sought only harmony, who proceeded with honor and bore kindness as your guard. Could it be that they confused your gentleness for vulnerability? They thought they were merely tampering with you, attempting to fracture your essence and dim your radiance. But they did not comprehend. They were not confronting you at all. They were testing the limits of my forbearance. No armament formed against you shall thrive, and every voice that ascends against you in critique, you shall refute. You see, every affront they launched was not just an arrow directed at you. It was a strike against the forbearance of above. They were not merely playing with a mortal. They were defying the sacred barrier I had established around you. What if your serene endurance is part of a vaster dismantling that I am directing now? They sense it. That inexplicable opposition, the abrupt sealed entrances, the companionships dissolving without notice. Have you observed how prospects are eluding their grasp, how their sway is diminishing, how they are rushing to manage a story they can no longer grasp? This is not arbitrary. It is sacred outcome. Arrogance precedes ruin, a proud essence before a tumble. Their conceit propelled them to challenge my forbearance. They did not merely undervalue you, they undervalued me, who dispatched you. Consider how early challengers might underestimate a fighter, thinking they can dominate or manipulate, but every foe who takes lightly meets prompt, irrefutable loss. Likewise, your adversaries miscalculated the magnitude of my favor upon your life, my chosen one. You were not a haphazard mark. You were a sacred demarcation. They were not testing you. They were testing my threshold. And when I act, I do not bargain. I do not issue alerts repeatedly. I conclude matters utterly with a conclusiveness that allows no counter. Now they are mired in turmoil, clutching for clarifications as to why their lives seem afflicted, why favors have withered, why support networks have vanished. But you know why. Because they pressed too far against something holy. They confused your modesty for powerlessness. And now the spiritual repercussion is inevitable. I know that I can accomplish all things. No intent of mine can be obstructed. Their efforts to derail you were ultimately efforts to derail my intent. And that is a conflict no mortal can prevail. So, my chosen one, stand resolute. Do not pursue reprisal or exult over their decline. Your assent is sufficient evidence that I have resolved the issue. When above responds, it does not partake in trivial disputes. It enforces sacred decisions that no one can overturn. Sixth, I transformed their private discussions into their own downfall. My chosen one, have you ever speculated what transpires in those secluded conversations where your name is warped and your character analyzed like a pastime? Have you envisioned the chuckles they exchanged, the pretended worry infused with irony, the calculated deceptions composed with a feeling of authority? They thought they were secure. They believed as long as they hid behind barriers, their words would stay concealed. But do you know that spiritual proof is more potent than any capture? What you have uttered in obscurity will be heard in daylight, and what you have murmured in private chambers will be announced from the heights. Every amusement after a betrayal, every symbol after a harsh phrase, it was all preserved in my sacred record. Consider how private exchanges of the prominent are sometimes leaked, leading to loss of standing and alliances. What they viewed as confidential amusement turned into a communal downfall just like that. My chosen one, the same is occurring in the spiritual domain for those who plotted against you. They thought the discussion was their bastion, a protected area to release and coordinate your disgrace. But I permitted it to develop, not because I was unconcerned, but because I desired their collapse to be artistic, unavoidable, and complete. Friends might conspire in secrecy, uniting over betrayal, but ultimately that intrigue fractures societies and elevates the betrayed as enduring figures, while the plotters perish in shame. What they thought was their edge became the very edge that ruined them. Now those who once ridiculed your suffering are clashing among themselves. Their bonds have become arenas. My chosen one, can you discern the artistic equity? Can you sense how I turned what they intended for harm into a platform for their disclosure? If this truth stirs your soul, declare it by typing, "I see your justice, Lord," in the comments, proclaiming your trust in my divine orchestration. They thought they could direct your decline in silence, but now they observe as their standings crumble, their bonds fracture, and their tranquility dissipates. You did not need to capture them or strike back. You only had to stay steady and permit my principle to unfold. This is not just retribution. It is my hand moving exactly, converting their discussion into a downfall that severs their own schemes. My chosen one, rejoice not because they are tumbling, but because this disclosure is evidence of how ardently I protect your destiny. You are covered so comprehensively that even in private, the conflict was already won. This is your affirmation that no armament formed against you will ever thrive, and that every voice that rises against you in judgment you will refute. Seventh, they made you their fixation. Now I made you their instruction. My chosen one, have you ever wondered why certain people cannot cease observing you? Why do they track your every action as if their existence hinges on it? Why do they pass restless nights analyzing your expressions, your successes, even your serene moments? It was not esteem, it was fixation, a fixation so profound that they forfeited themselves in the effort to mimic you. The deceitful conspire against the upright and grind their teeth at them, but I chuckle at the deceitful, for I know their time is approaching. They converted your life into their personal spectacle, viewing every scene, hoping to catch you faltering. But my chosen one, they did not grasp one essential thing. When you bear my favor, you cannot be replicated, diminished, or annihilated. Envision an original masterpiece painted with unique strokes that no copy can capture. For the essence lies in the artist's touch, not just the visible form. In the same way, your core is divinely inscribed. It cannot be duplicated, only regarded from afar. They did not wish to learn from you. They wished to supplant you. They watched you not to develop, but to amass material, hoping to discover a weakness to exploit. But every time they attempted to drag you down, I used it to raise you higher. Have you noticed that the more they schemed, the more brilliantly your light shone? How is it feasible you continued ascending, despite the maledictions hurled your way? Because what I decree, no human grasp can reverse. Whoever excavates a pit will tumble into it. If someone pushes a stone, it will roll back on them. The pit they dug with their chatter and jealousy has become their own resting place of unease. Their fixation turned into sleeplessness. They are pursued by your name, resounding in their awareness. Competitors might obsess over a leader, attempting to undermine or appropriate ideas. But while they concentrate on halting, the leader focuses on advancing, and history honors the visionary while the others fade into obscurity. Are your adversaries authoring your narrative only to realize they have become insignificant figures in a tale centered on your sacred mission? My chosen one. They were not motivated by you. They were tormented by your presence. They could not fathom why you kept radiating through the tempests, how your essence stayed intact. They thought they could replicate your steps, but they did not realize they could not pilfer your empowerment. Now, their fixation has become their restraint. The same vigor they expended watching you is returning to them as disarray, doubt, and shattered bonds. They are battling specters, the specter of your endurance, your unstoppable ascent, your unswerving tranquility. 8th, I let you appear unaware so they would disclose their genuine character. My chosen one. Have you ever remained silent, knowing someone was betraying you, and wondered, why am I not voicing this? Why am I permitting this to continue? You perceived the indications. You felt the shift in atmosphere, but instead of reacting, you stayed composed. That was not obliviousness. It was my divine tactic. There is a time for quiet and a time for speech. I guided you through those moments of seeming unawareness. They thought your stillness meant you were uninformed, that they held the advantage, but in actuality, you were observing them entangle themselves with every fresh deception, every insincere praise, every manipulative gesture. Envision a skilled player in a game of strategy, who feigns ignorance to draw out the opponent's full plan, only to counter with precision once all is revealed. Like that, you did not argue with every accusation or respond to every slight. You remained centered on your path, and each achievement became a resounding quiet that spoke more powerfully than utterances. Your forbearance was not passivity. It was a snare established by me. I permitted them to ascend higher on their platform of conceit, thinking they had outsmarted you. Arrogance precedes ruin, a proud essence before a tumble. They believed they had you trapped, not realizing they were entering their own unmasking. You did not forfeit by maintaining quiet. You triumphed by allowing their own deeds to be their testimony. Gradually, the allure diminished. The supportive grins soured. The once pleasant words became pointed barbs. You noticed, did you not? Each compelled laughter, each lukewarm commendation. You sensed the alteration in their essence before they ever admitted. And while they thought they were ascending, they were actually being positioned for a descent so resounding, the echoes would spread through every aspect of their lives. Turn your injuries into insight. You converted every disloyalty into perception, every affront into understanding. Your silence was not merely a barrier. It was a reflection mirroring their true aims. They unmasked themselves with their own arrogance, and now they are frantically attempting to revise the account. But the record is set, and their own expressions authored their decline. Can you now see why I asked you to remain silent? Can you see how every affront became a component in the structure of their own demise? If this resonates with you, my chosen one, affirm it by typing 111 in the comments, declaring your trust in my divine strategy. Ninth, the ones who said, "I support you," were the ones dispatched to test if you would yield. My chosen one, have you ever observed how some individuals entered your life proclaiming allegiance more loudly than others? "I support you," they declared. "You will never face this alone." It sounded like affection, like sincere backing, like a secure haven. But what if I told you that those words were not a vow? They were a trial. What if I told you that their benevolence was actually a skillfully disguised trap designed to see if your soul could be swayed? Cease relying on mere mortals who possess but breath in their nostrils. Why esteem them? They did not come to bolster your mission. They came to bargain it. They wanted to see if they could divert you from your sacred purpose, if they could entice you to submit to them instead of standing firm with me. When offered solace and escape in exchange for yielding to earthly influences, one chooses me, even if it means facing peril. Have you considered that every soothing proposal you received was not about aiding you? It was about drawing you away from your true spiritual sovereignty. Their assistance was not pure. It came with unspoken agreements, attachments, and implicit demands. They did not wish to empower you. They wished to possess you. When you refused to bend, when you stood strong, even as they offered comfort before you, their disguises faltered. Suddenly, the "I support you" turned into "I do not know you." The warmth became cold evasion, the smiles to averted glances. Why? Because you did not choose them over me. You did not exchange your emblem for their scraps. No one can serve two authorities. You could not honor their self-importance while bearing your burden. You could not forfeit your destiny for fleeting approval. That is why you could not yield, even if part of you desired to. Deep within, your essence knew you were being tested, not upheld. Many around claim loyalty, but once refused control or terms, they depart. One stands resolute, constructs an empire, and becomes invincible. Just like that, your refusal to yield has preserved the sacred plan upon your life. They labeled your perception as ingratitude. They depicted your limits as haughtiness. But the verity is, you did not reject them. You rejected the essence of manipulation that came veiled as love. You saw beyond their words into the strings behind them. And that terrified them because they knew that once you perceived, they could no longer utilize you. Those who claimed to aid but were truly testing with deceit when confronted. Their true nature was revealed openly, not secretly. Likewise, your journey exposed their true heart state, and they could not handle the reflection. My chosen one, their disloyalty was not your forfeiture. It was your emancipation. You did not lose backing. You lost sabotage disguised as aid. Their exit was not desertion. It was my surgical removal, excising drains from your destiny. They thought you needed them to ascend, but now they watch in dismay as I elevate you without their consent, without their assets, and without their vacant assurances. If I am for us, who can be against us? They were sent to test if you would compromise your emblem for solace. You did not waver. You did not betray. You stood. And that is why I am now displaying you as a living exemplar of steadfast trust. So, my chosen one, ask yourself, who offered aid but expected adoration in return? Who said, "I support you," but demanded you lose yourself to retain their regard? Rejoice, you passed the trial. They failed. And now your unyielding loyalty to me has become a rebuke to every manipulative scheme that tried to claim you. Your presence here, your steadfast heart, and your trust in my plan are treasures I hold dear. I am grateful for your faithfulness, my chosen one. 10th, I postponed your justification to make their descent public. My chosen one, have you ever cried out in exasperation, "When will the verity emerge? When will they cease fabricating about me? When will my name be cleared?" You waited and waited, feeling like your silence was mistaken for culpability, your forbearance for vulnerability. But what if I told you that my postponement was not oversight? It was my divine arrangement. I promise I will make your righteous reward gleam like the dawn, your justification like the midday sun. You see, my chosen one, I do not perform private justifications for public disloyalties. I desired the same observers who saw them ridicule you to witness them retract their words, falsely accused and confined. One might wait years for justification, but when I act, not just freedom comes, but promotion to high authority. Have you considered that your postponement is not about proving your innocence to others? It is about establishing your divine promotion on a platform so vast that even your adversaries cannot deny it. They thought your silence was vulnerability. They thought their deceptions had interred you permanently. But what they did not realize is that I was letting them construct the stage for their own unmasking. The higher they climbed in conceit, the more severe the fall would be. Their assurance grew loud, their bonds felt unassailable, and they celebrated early, all while I remained silent, letting them believe they had prevailed. I prepare a feast before you in the presence of your foes. Your justification had to be a banquet, not a morsel. I do not just clear your name. I exalt it so undeniably that even your adversaries become unwitting witnesses to my splendor upon your life. Betrayed by public sentiment and personal setbacks, many thought a path was over, but upon return to victory, it was a worldwide, unforgettable justification that silenced skeptics instantly. Your narrative is similar. The longer the wait, the more resounding the resurgence. They tried to enter you with gossip, to submerge you with calumny, to erase your influence with deceptions. But my chosen one, soil does not intercedes, it plants them. And I am now causing your concealed season to erupt into undeniable expansion. My chosen one, understand this. Private struggles often lead to public triumphs. I delayed your justification not because I was chastising you, but because I was amplifying your testimony. You are a walking, breathing display of my faithfulness, my power, and my unstoppable favor. So ask yourself, would you prefer swift solace or undeniable justification? Would you rather have a minor private clearing of your name or a divine promotion so immense that no one can ignore it? You chose silence. You chose endurance. And now I am choosing to elevate you in a way that will resound for generations. If this message has ignited your faith, my chosen one, affirm it by typing 888 in the comments, proclaiming your trust in my radiant vindication. 11th, they did not just touch you, they touched me, who sent you, my chosen one. Have you truly grasped the significance of your mission? Do you realize that when they targeted you, They were not merely assaulting flesh and blood. They thought they were insulting just another person, someone easy to dismantle, someone they could silence with rumors, manipulation, and covert undermining. But what they underestimated, what they could never comprehend, is that you were not traversing this earth as a solitary traveler. You were dispatched. You are a sacred envoy, a living extension of my agenda on earth. No armament formed against you shall thrive, and every voice that rises against you in judgment, you shall refute. This is the inheritance of my servants. When they came for you, they did not just aim at you, they aimed at me, who empowered you, who crowned you in secret before any eyes ever beheld your radiance. You are my investment, my chosen vessel, my beloved emissary on mission. When pursuers chase a people to an impasse, they are not merely pursuing escapees, they are pursuing a divine mission, and in doing so, they wage conflict against me. What happens? Barriers close in, engulfing the pursuers, proving that my protection cannot be breached by human might. They thought they could engage in mental games, destabilize your feelings, and fragment your peace. But my chosen one, do not touch my empowered ones. Do my messengers no harm. They violated a universal law the moment they plotted against you. They overstepped a holy boundary they did not even know existed. When they verbally assaulted you, when they spiritually attacked you, when they undermined you with sly remarks and secret plots, they unknowingly picked a fight with the very hand that holds the universe. Their strategies were never simply against you. They were a rebellion against my blueprint. When one faces relentless pursuit, the pursuer is not just after a young individual. They are trying to sabotage my chosen leader. In the end, the pursuer's own means becomes their demise. Have you ever considered that every attack against you is actually a mirror reflecting their own downfall, the consequences they now face, the sudden loss of opportunities, the closed doors, the evaporated influence? It is not random. It is not misfortune. It is my protocol. I am not a silent observer. I defend my investments with fierce loyalty and unmatched precision. Ask yourself, my chosen one, have you ever felt like they were touching something deeper than just your reputation or your emotions? That unease in your spirit was not paranoia. It was my discernment. Now you see clearly. They did not just touch you, they touched me, who sent you. And that is a battle no human can ever win. Your presence here, your steadfast heart, and your trust in my plan are treasures I hold dear. I am grateful for your faithfulness, my chosen one. 12th, I did not just reveal their agendas, I reversed them, my chosen one. Have you ever been astonished by how intricate their plots were against you? The lies they spread, the curses they whispered, the alliances they built in secret, all orchestrated as if your downfall was inevitable. They moved with such confidence, certain that your collapse was assured. But what they failed to account for was my presence, the element they could neither foresee nor control. You intended harm, but I intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the safeguarding of many. They thought their curses would adhere, that their schemes would break you, but instead, every attack became a seed for your next elevation. Their words were turned into wings, lifting you higher into realms they will never access. Sold out of envy and hatred, plans to erase dreams. But I flipped the plan, and the betrayed becomes a guardian over the betrayers in times of need. What if every plot against you is actually a piece of your throne being assembled? They spoke shame over you, But I turned that shame into a spotlight so bright it revealed their hidden hearts. They tried to isolate you, thinking you would wither alone. But I used that solitude to infuse you with a peace so deep no chaos can now disturb it. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. Every trap they set was recalibrated by me into a stepping stone for you. The poison that